Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn is a real movie that is actually called that, and it's somehow good. This year we're getting this movie, Mulan, Black Widow, Wonder Woman 2, so if there's ever a time to make female-led action movies happen, it's now. And they somehow didn't fuck this one up, so maybe there's still hope. Birds of Prey balances 5 main characters that all have clear goals, established motivations, and enough of an arc that it's satisfying to watch. It's the best fight choreography in any action movie from the last year other than John Wick 3. They're just really well shot, well choreographed action sequences with a lot of long, wide takes so you can see everything that's happening. And it's creative and fun. There's a lot of real stunts and stuff like Harley being pulled behind a car on roller skates. It's like, that's just a stunt person doing that. That's awesome. The movie has a lot of style, but in a good way that makes it feel like the vision of a director. It uses a lot of pop and rock songs, especially during like some of the action scenes, but at least they time the action to the music, and the music reflects the tone of the scene. The movie is also rated R because of course it is. It's an action crime drama in the same vein as Snatch, starring supervillains and vigilantes. When you think about it, it's kind of baffling that movies like Suicide Squad or Venom aren't rated R. But the reason this movie works is it's just a well put together action movie with dynamic characters and creatively well shot action scenes. On top of that, the movie managed to deliver a version of Harley Quinn that was both not offensive and not completely terrible. They cover her entire origin in an opening 2-minute animation that's more compelling than literally anything in Suicide Squad. Also, why doesn't every comic book movie open with an animated origin? That way you can cut out all the bullshit and skip straight to the story. They also remembered not to make Harley a straight up role model. The multiple times she straight out says, "I'm a bad person." And she doesn't get a cheap or easy redemption at the end either. The movie remembers all the interesting things about the character, like how she used to be a psychiatrist, and uses it to enhance her character. She'll often like diagnose her peers mid-conversation and fun things like that. The movie even briefly explores some of the darker aspects of her character in this like interesting musical dream sequence that kind of implies that she gets off on like physical abuse. But it's also kind of vague enough that it could be interpreted more than one way, but that's also what's interesting about it. There's even this cool moment with Cassandra Cain, who's a very different character from the comics, but she serves the story fine enough here, where she doesn't know who the Joker is, and Harley has this moment where she realizes that Cassandra actually likes her for her, and it's like kind of interesting and actually subtle and cool. Ewan McGregor plays a great villain here. I'm not sure exactly what they are going for here with his character, because he's clearly coded gay, but he also comes off like very misogynistic. There's something a little weird there because the movie appears to have this like really obvious feminist agenda, and it does by existing. But there's also like this sort of thing where he's sort of the only male character in the movie and he's like a terrible person, but then it's also like kind of implied that he's gay, so then it's also like, okay, well, are all men evil, even the ones who are feminine? What are you trying to say here? But I'm probably thinking too hard about it. What's more important and interesting is Ewan's performance, which is very different and wacky, and he just feels like a very classic Batman villain. And Ewan seems to be having a great time in the role, so I can't say that I didn't enjoy it. But I do think that they missed a major opportunity. But I do think they missed a major opportunity with the way that they ended his character, so spoilers, I guess. But the whole movie he's been cutting people's faces off. He has this creepy motif in his lair where he has all these like Green Goblin-esque masks. And so I thought, oh, okay, cool. So at the end of the movie, someone's gonna cut his face off, or like maybe the Black mask is gonna get like melted to his face, so he'll be more like the character from the comics. But no, he just explodes at the end, which I think is a missed opportunity, but at least he explodes in a really violent and memorable way. If you're gonna kill off your villain, at least make it cool and memorable, so they at least did that. While we're on gripes, my only other real issue with the movie is there's this one scene where Harley bursts into a police station and just starts taking out cops like she's the fucking Terminator.
I'll be back.
and for some reason none of the cops remember that they have guns and can just shoot her. But other than that eye roller, the rest of the action scenes are really good. Even the following sequence in the jail is vastly improved, because even though Harley is more or less invincible, she has to protect Cassandra now, who is just a regular person. And so suddenly there are stakes and the scene is much more interesting. So a while ago I did a video about Suicide Squad where I tried to improve the movie by pitching this scene that used "Hit Me With Your Best Shot," and guess which song shows up in this movie? That's right, a weird cover of "Hit Me With Your Best Shot."
Hit me with your best shot.
Now, I'm not saying that this movie stole my idea, but I'm also not saying that. So I work at a movie theater and I decided to do an experiment to see what people would call the movie when they went to buy a ticket for it. 2 people asked to see Birds of Prey and 3 people asked to see Harley Quinn. So all that I really think that we learned is that not a lot of people went to see this movie, which is evident in the box office. But also, yes, this title is ridiculous and too long and people did not bother to learn it. Even some of the trailers are like, fuck it, it's Harley Quinn in Birds of Prey, because we don't have time to say that whole shit.
Harley Quinn in Birds of Prey.
Like she's James Bond and this is one of the many Harley Quinn movies that we'll get over the years. Which maybe we will, I don't fucking know, but she sells a lot of backpacks. But yeah, why didn't they just call this movie Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey? I don't think anyone would have complained if they had called it that. I think most people would be less confused if they just called it that. I don't think the title is entirely what's causing this movie to underperform, but it definitely does not help. On that, so the movie had a budget of around $84 million, double that to include marketing, and at the time of recording this, it's only made around $95 million. So yeah, it still has a little ways to go before it even breaks even. Now, that being said, it's still very possible for it to do so. It's only been out for about a week. There isn't really much else playing other than the Sonic movie right now. And who knows how that'll do. The movie's also rated R, so there's generally a smaller market that it can reach. But I kind of think it's too bad that this movie's not doing that well, because I think it's really good. It has great action, and it's way more interesting than your garden variety Marvel movie that always seem to make $1 billion no matter what. Like, why can't good movies make more money? Why do average movies have to make the most? Overall, that's mostly it, but I don't know. I was pleasantly surprised by this movie. It kind of had everything I wanted. It was a good movie with a unique style and really, really great action sequences, and it was entertaining, and that's all I really needed. Also, there have been how many Batman movies, and somehow this is the first one to have its third act set in an abandoned amusement park? Like, really? The Harley Quinn movie? I'm not complaining, it made for a great action sequence. It's just kind of baffling when you think of how many times they've done Batman has to fight the Joker or whatever, and the only other time they've had them fight in an abandoned amusement park is Mask of the Phantasm. No other live action movie is like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, why don't we do that? But it's a good movie. They made a good movie. They can do it. This and Shazam are both great. DC, just keep making good movies. It's not that hard, guys. If you didn't fuck up Birds of Prey and the whatever of Harley Quinn, then you have no excuse with any other movie you make. Harley Quinn's an incredibly popular character, and I feel like they often forget that she's actually really interesting and compelling, especially in the Mad Love origin episode and the animated series and other things like that. And I feel like DC often forgets about all of that and just uses her as an excuse to sell backpacks. And this movie responsibly doesn't do that. It's actually good, and Harley's kind of interesting. They at least attempt to give her pathos. And the movie's rated R, so there's a limit on the number of teenagers that can see it, and the movie doesn't really try to make her into a role model. They made a good movie out of Harley Quinn. It can be done. That's it for me. Have a good day. Enjoy the Sonic movie.
Hit me with your best shot. Why don't you hit
This video was sponsored by Hot Topic. Want to get all the hot merch and t-shirts from your favorite pop punk bands? Fuck you, it's the Harley Quinn store now. Come on down, we get all the latest Harley Quinn lunchboxes and knapsacks. Every kid needs a Harley Quinn lunchbox. Give them all the Harley Quinn merch you can possibly need. Batman? Who's that? Harley Quinn is the best character of all time. Make her into a Batman. Inspiration for little girls everywhere. Harley Quinn is an abuse victim and a sociopath. Put her on a lunchbox. So come on down to the Hot Topic Harley Quinn experience today. Did you know that Spencer's actually has the Harley Quinn line of clothing right now? That's not even a joke, that's a real thing. Spencer's is like the edgy Hot Topic. It's like Hot Topic but actually edgy because they have dicks. They have dicks there. You can buy a dick and you can buy a Harley Quinn shirt. Today at Spencer's.